The Acura TLX was introduced last year to replace the aging Acura TL and TSX sedans, and it's been somewhat of a success. While the TLX is more of a value-oriented choice compared to its very strong competitors from BMW and Mercedes-Benz, should the TLX be worth the look for a mid-size luxury sedan? Well, let's go ahead and find out and check out this 2016 Acura TLX. Now, our model of the TLX we have here is a fairly basic model. It doesn't have the technology package or the V6 engine as the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine. Now, the biggest changes for the 2016 model year are very minimal. The only change is really a modest price increase on the base TLX models. And then also, as far as styling goes, I love the TLX's styling because it resembles the whole Acura family with the dual eye LED headlights. They look very sharp and really good at nighttime. And then you have the Acura beak on the front end, and then our model has these pretty good looking 17-inch alloy wheels that fit the vehicle quite nicely. Now here goes the key fob design for the TLX. Pretty high quality looking key fob design. It's very similar to what you will find on newer Hondas. You do have your remote keyless entry, your lock, unlock to release your trunk, and then your panic button too. Now, this color on the TLX is known as the Bellanova White Pearl. You also do have smart key access on the driver's door as well as the front passenger door. Comes with a black leather interior, but Acura likes to call it ebony. My favorite color that you can get on the inside of the TLX is the espresso brown leather. Looks very unique. You also do have your power driver seat with power recline and power lumbar, of course. Now, the first thing you notice when you step on inside of the TLX here is how roomy and comfortable the cabin is. And the cabin design is fairly stylish and it's very luxurious inside of here, just like how Acura should be. However, I wish they would put a different infotainment system as it's too Honda-like, and I think they need to differentiate the infotainment systems a little bit more on Hondas and Acuras. They do have push-button ignition. Just put your foot on the brake and hit the button to start. And what you're hearing there is a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. Full leather-wrapped steering wheel. Coming to your transmission, you have an 8-speed automated manual. You also do have manual shiftability via the paddle shifters. And you do have an electronic parking brake down here. When you put the vehicle into reverse, this will display your rear view camera with your guidance lines, and you can change the different views of the camera by pressing down on the enter button right here. You have your normal view, a wide angled view, and a top down view too. This is what you will find on many Hondas and many Acuras too. And the mirrors will tilt down when you put the vehicle into reverse. And I'm going to go ahead and turn on the headlights and the hazards. Automatic driver's side window. Let's go ahead and pop up the hood, check out the engine bay. Heated exterior mirrors with LED turn signal indicators. Love the gloss black trim on the lower part of the mirror. Now, the Acura TLX was created for someone who wants a mid-size luxury sports sedan but doesn't want to pay the hefty premium or doesn't really care for the prestige of one. Coming up to the front, you have LED headlights for the low and high beam. Now, under the hood here, we have your base powertrain, which is a 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder that produces 206 horsepower at 6,800 RPM and 182 pound-feet of torque at 4,500 RPM, with EPA estimates being 24 in the city and 35 on the highway. Now, even though this powertrain does have so-so acceleration, the fuel economy numbers are superb. It's pretty darn fuel efficient. But if you do want more power out of the TLX, they do have the 3.5 liter V6 available, and you can go with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And if you do go for the all-wheel drive model, the handling is a little bit sportier than the front-wheel drive models. And your only transmission is going to be an 8-speed automatic or a 9-speed automatic. With the 3.5-liter V6, you do get the 9-speed automatic. Now, some competitors for the TLX, you can include the Buick Regal, the BMW 3 Series, Mercedes-Benz C-Class, as well as the Lexus IS. Love these 17-inch alloy wheels. Pretty good looking. Coming up here, you have your shark fin antenna, LED taillights, and LED license plate lights. Total vehicle price, you're looking at $32,615, which is not a bad price considering how many features you get in the TLX, and many of its competitors start way above $32,000 and don't offer as many features as the TLX does as standard equipment. EPA estimates, like I said, are 24 in the city and 35 on the highway. And like I said earlier in the video, the TLX is more of the value-oriented choice in the mid-size luxury sedan class. Coming to your basic power necessities, you have your power windows right here, power door locks, and your power mirrors, and memory seat settings for 2 people. Now, build quality and materials are pretty good inside of the TLX. You have nice soft touch materials up here on the dashboard. It's this really nice, squishy, softly padded material, and then up here the materials are nice and soft touch, as well as the mid door panel and the armrest. You have nice stitching. There's not a whole lot of stitching going on inside of here, like you won't find stitching on the dashboard or anything like that, which is a common automotive trend nowadays, but this is still a pretty nice cabin. However, it does feel a little too Honda-like at times, especially with the infotainment system, and sometimes it can be a little austere feeling. But overall, this interior is very well constructed and it's pretty well built. Build quality is excellent, not many panel gaps inside of here, and the interior trim and pieces don't creak a whole lot. Overall, this cabin is a really nice place to spend your time, and the seats are very comfortable inside of this vehicle. They're nice and plush, very soft, very well supportive. Thigh support is also excellent inside of this vehicle. And I love how they don't feel very firm. They're nice and soft, great for long road trips. Visibility is also excellent inside of the TLX, and many cars nowadays will have sloping roof lines, but that's not the case with the TLX. There's lots of glass area all around, and you won't find a sloping roof line back there. It's very easy to see out of this vehicle, and the A-pillars are very thin. Coming to the steering wheel design, this steering wheel is okay looking. It's kind of boring, kind of plain. I wish they would spicing up things a little bit. It looks a little too Honda-like. Coming to the controls here, we have your steering wheel mounted audio controls, Bluetooth phone controls, and your voice recognition. Over here, we have your cruise control. Adaptive cruise control is also an option. You also have your intermittent windshield wipers right there, manually tilting and telescoping steering wheel. Down here is where you will find a little storage cubby with a 12-volt power outlet and a USB port. You can also cover it up if you would like. Then you have your dual cup holders down here. Coming to the center console, nice and soft touch and stitched. And then this is where you'll find another 12-volt power outlet, as well as an auxiliary input, and a decent amount of center console storage. Up here we also do have your auto-dimming rearview mirror, garage home link, and your sunglass container. As you can see, lots of standard equipment. And your sunroof, with your sunroof controls, and LED map lights. Now coming to the infotainment system here, we have the dual screen design from Honda and Acura. Many of you know I'm not a huge fan of this older generation system. I love the new generation systems like how you will find on the new 2016 Honda Civic as well as the 2016 Accord. This system right here is just more finicky to use. It's not as user-friendly as the newer systems. But however, the best part about this system is probably this touchscreen right here. This is basically all for your audio sources. The responsiveness of this touchscreen is superb. The graphics on these two screens are okay. They can be a little bit better, and the rendering can be a little bit better, but the responsiveness is great. When you click on something, it's lightning quick. Coming to your different audio sources, we do have AM, FM, XM satellite radio, your CD player with your optical disc drive, and your USB port with iPod integration, and then your Pandora internet radio, and then your Bluetooth streaming audio, and then your auxiliary inputs, all of the norm here. And you could set your presets, have your shortcuts. You can also control your climate functions from this little touchscreen here, like the different zones. And coming to these climate controls down here, these are pretty simple and easy to use. Big knobs, big buttons. You have your temperatures right here. Dual zone automatic climate control. You can control your temperatures from here. Very nice. And then an ELS surround sound system is also available on the TLX. Coming to this screen up here, basically this shows you other vehicle information, and it's all controlled by these buttons and this dial in the center right here. Coming to info, you have your trip computer, clock wallpaper. You could change on here. It also shows you what radio station is playing up on here too. Then you have your phone. You can hook up your Bluetooth phone, have all of your contacts stored on here, have an address, book. And then you also do have a day and night mode of this system, as well as this screen as well. And then coming to menu, coming to the settings menu, you have your camera settings, phone settings, info settings, audio settings, vehicle settings. Let's go to vehicle settings right here. Language selection, the outside temperature display if you want to change that, or the memory position link. You have the meter setup, driving position setup, keyless access setup, many different settings you could change here. Then you have your audio. You could change your different preset from here too. Pretty cool. But overall, I wish they would just put everything on one little screen instead of having two screens here. It just makes it more complicated and less user-friendly. But the best part about this system is definitely the very responsive little touchscreen right here. I also forgot to mention that we do have 3-staged heated seats in this vehicle. Now, coming to the gauges and the instrument cluster, Acura kept it very traditional and simple looking. No TFT instrument cluster or a big old LCD screen or anything of that nature. Coming on to the left right here, we have your coolant temperature, and then your tachometer, your speedometers right here, and then your fuel gauge. Very simple. And then you have your information center right there. And it's all controlled by the buttons on the steering wheel, of course. And it shows you your fuel range, your average fuel economy, gives you a little bar. You also do have your exterior temperature readout, your other vehicle settings that you could change, like the keyless access setup, meter setup, pretty much some of the settings that you could change on this screen right here. Now, one key area where the TLX excels at is in the way it drives. The handling and the steering is very predictable, it's responsive, you can feel for where this vehicle is trying to go, and you do have different driver selectable modes. You have a sport mode, which tightens up the steering a little bit and changes the throttle response. Then you have your econ mode, which is the most fuel efficient setting for the vehicle. Now, the handling is not as good as the 3 Series, the BMW, but however, it's still pretty good in its handling and steering capabilities. And if you do go for the all-wheel drive system, the handling is even sportier. Now, the ride quality is very subdued, it's very comfortable, and it's very whisper quiet at highway speeds. And on top of that, the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder provides so-and-so acceleration. However, the fuel economy numbers are very superb for the class, earning up to 35 miles per gallon, which is pretty good for the amount of power it has. And if you do want more power out of the TLX, go for that 3.5 liter V6. but you do get the 9-speed automatic with the push-button gear selector. There's also many optional safety technologies that you can get on the TLX, such as lane keeping assist and blind spot detection. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and shut down the vehicle. Let's go ahead and check out the rest of the car. Build quality and materials do follow through in the rear, still nice stitching everywhere, and all of the panels are soft touch. Now sitting back here in the TLX, it's pretty roomy. The headroom is pretty good back here. The legroom is okay. Back here we also do have dual map pockets, rear air vents, and a center armrest with cup holders. And the rear headrests are also adjustable too. The seats themselves in the TLX are very comfortable and pretty supportive. And the TLX has more rear seat legroom than many of its competitors, such as the BMW 3 Series. It's pretty comfortable. Alright. Now back here you will find an okay amount of trunk space, but the rear seats do fold down to maximize the cargo space by pulling on these levers right here. And then you just push the seats down. It's a pretty easy mechanism. Then you also do have this little handle right here. Powered passenger seat with power recline. Glove box compartment. Nice and damp. So the 2016 Acura TLX is an excellent choice for someone who wants a reliable, fuel-efficient, and a value-oriented, sporty, mid-size luxury sedan. So remember that this is Cameron Birch from Cameron's Car Reviews.